Today we will be doing a full LED conversion, all yellow for J Williams, but we're going to focus on the on-off start-stop cluster, which involves 6 LEDs, so your strobe tower and your 33 and 45. So let's get started. The things you will need for this job: naturally, the LEDs. Let's move these out of the way. Solder socket, solder, glasses, snips and tweezers just in case. So if we're going to do this properly, we're going to clean this up. We're going to re-grease the start-stop mechanism. And there's a couple of things you need to be really careful of when doing this job. First of all, these parts are not made anymore, especially this section here. I can't see it ever being sort of financially viable to remake these. So if you make a mistake with this, and there are a few quite easy mistakes to make, you're going to be fucked basically and have to spend about 50 quid for a new one. So first of all, this is the newer type, and this one you can pull the top off to get to the strobe. Now the older ones, you have to remove this clamp here and the whole mechanism comes at the bottom. So if you've got a 1210 that somebody thought they were clever and they popped this off to have a look, they would have basically unglued it from the stem and you'll need to glue another one on. So the first thing to be wary of with this job is removing this tower here. Now, if you pull this tower off the wrong way, you will remove the little stems that come up and hold that in place. You'll need to remove the LED diffuser, because if you don't, it won't be very clear. Well, not clear. It won't be, you'll just see the LEDs in there. It won't work properly. So we're going to start this by gently just twisting it left and right, just to get it loose, because they do glue them on the inside. And we're going to pop this out. There we go. Right, so that is off. As you can see there, there's a little bit of glue that was holding that in. And both of these little stems that catch the strobe tower are intact. Now, I do this so much, so that did look a little bit easy, but my sort of handy hint and tip for this job is just gently twist until you feel it snap, and then you can pull it to, that's going to be my left, that'll be your right on the video, but remember left, and just pop it out. So the next thing to do is to remove the board that the LEDs go on, and we can do this by popping out this little clip and just pop it. Oh, here we go. So I'm probably going to use my finger in this case. There doesn't seem to be much glue underneath this, but there we go. We are out. And again, it is slightly glued there, so be wary of that. And that is free. No, it's not free. Oh, it is a bit of a tight fit. Let's get these wires out. There we go. That's a mistake I made. See, look, still making mistakes. Look, and it is glued there, and that has come free. So it's now time to get the soldering iron working and get these off. So we are ready to solder. Now, in my last video, I explained that you need a nice firm working space. These solder tubes actually work really well for just popping this in here. So you've got a nice flat workspace. Now, a couple of things to notice with this is sometimes they do glue these on. So just make sure that they're not heavily glued, because when you unsolder them and you're trying to rip them out, you'll do damage. You'll put too much heat onto these little feet which connect to the tracks. So again, as always, it's good to be fast and hot. All right, so that is in there quite nicely. Glasses on, because you really need to see what you're going to be doing. First of all, we're going to clean off the solder iron, and we are going to apply some extra solder to these. and basically join them both up. So then we can get this LED hot and just pop them out. Here we go. Oh, and it's just coming off now. Lovely jubbly. There is your LED. Pop them in a safe place, because you don't want to be losing parts. We're going to repeat this process 4 times.
Where is it? There it is. Again, we're going to apply a load of extra solder so we can get both hot. And we're just going to pop that out. Easy as that. Repeat that twice over. Boom. And finally, boom.
There we go. It is off. So we're going to clean this board up. We're going to remove the solder that's left over with the solder sucker. Oh.
It's being a little bit finicky, but there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Something so sad.
There we go. Now, we've removed the solder. You can clearly see through those little holes, and we're ready for those LEDs to go in. But first of all, we are going to want to clean this off. This is running out, so it's oh, quick before it evaporates. Ah, there we go. A little bit more with the old spray and a cotton bud. There we go, nice and clean. So, one thing to remember is these LEDs won't go in the correct way. So an LED is a light emitting diode. It can only go one way. And on this board, it shows you which way that goes. So plus is the long leg, minus is the short leg. And I just remember, the way I remember it, because I'm odd, is the diode symbol, the long leg goes through the flat section. Now this board here, they're opposite. So the circuit works. So you need to make sure that you've sent them the right way. If you put one wrong in the wrong way, or if you put any in the wrong way, then it won't work and you have to start again. You have to desolder and it just becomes a ball ache. So these here also have a little section on them to give them the right distance between the board and the LED. And we're going to pop the first one in. Remember, brown side, we'll start at the top. Oh, I forgot to put the little bit on. Do you know what? Let's do that now. All in one. Starting first 2 on the long leg. And we're going to do the next 2 on the short leg. And that should help you to remember to do them the opposite way round. There we go. So we've got 2 on the short, we've got 2 on the long. So let's get this first one in. And I'm going to bend this leg so it holds it in the right place. I'm going to dab a little bit of solder on it. Oh, just hold that in place. Oh, gee daisy. So that one is in place. Needs to go in a little bit more, but now that is secured. I'm going to dab a little bit more on that. And we are going to cut these legs off. Now you don't want these legs touching the strobe tower because it will short. It's just not good form. Right. And that is nice and positioned.
So again, I'm going to pop that over so it holds it in place, and I'm going to dab a bit of solder on it. There we go, that is in place. Just going to heat it up again to just make sure it's sat correctly. And I'm going to dab an extra bit on this second leg. Beautiful. Chop these legs off. Now, good snips are essential, really, because you want them to just be sharp, basically. Right, so we're just rinsing and repeating now. Gonna bend the leg. Now I've got enough LEDs on here now to hold it on. I said hold it in place. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on, there you go. That's it. Boom. Make sure that's sat correctly. Lovely jubbly. Oh, let's pop another one on there. Beautiful. Snip, snip, and as a final run, bend the leg. Dab a little bit of solder. Make sure it's positioned correctly, so heat it up again, and that is beautiful. And we're going to add one more bit of solder, and we're going to snip. Lovely jubbly.
Make sure they're positioned in correctly. And we're going to go pop, and we're going to go pop. And finally, we're going to clean the back of the board off. Oh, that's a little bit untidy there, so I'm just going to tidy that up. We don't want blobs. That's the one. There we go. So, there it is. That is a strobe tower LED replacement. And we just want to angle them in a little bit. And then we want to pop. Oh, let's give it a bit of a clean as well while we're there. I'm going to pop this in. Now, when you do this, you have to remember the way it went in. And there we go. So let's angle that. Now this goes around here, and you'll see on this section there's a little nodule that the wire goes through. And you just want to pop it in between those two, I don't know what you call them, things. And then, beautiful. Let's get this running correctly, because your strobe tower won't go on unless these wires are running the way they're supposed to. I'm going to pop that in its little place. I'm going to give this a little bit of an extra clean up as well.
We want it to be beautiful, especially where the little knob goes over the top of it. Clean out the inside. Now,
It was glued on originally, but I don't really. You don't really need to glue these. Unless it's really loose, there's no real need for it. And we're going to go in left a little bit. Where is it? There we go. And we're going to click it in place. There we go. We're going to pop our diffuser back in. And we're going to pop the knob back on. And that is a strobe tower LED conversion.